Hello everybody, welcome back to Cycle Fab. I'm Larry. Today I want to talk to you about something that a lot of bike builders don't touch on. Actually, I've never seen anybody mention anything about it on YouTube or any of the YouTube videos on building a bike. And that is the centerline of the frame. Now, when I say centerline of the frame, you have two of them. I'm not talking about the one looking down the backbone. I'm talking about the one right across in here. Now, that's very important. First off, that center line, the one that runs directly through the center of the frame, this way, is parallel with this, the bottom of your frame. Now, one thing that's very interesting with this particular motorcycle, this is a GS 550 Suzuki, 1981. Now, I'm sure in the marketing department of Suzuki, they came out with this term, soft chopper. And all it means is they were trying to compete with the chopper market, okay? So they took a regular standard GS 550 and put longer fork tubes on it, which is fine. I mean, they're not aggressively long, a couple inches. Well, that really throws the look of the bike off. You may not consciously see it, but you definitely will see it in your subconscious mind when you're looking at the whole aesthetics of the bike after it's completed, that you've worked on. And what I'm talking about is the front of this bike is 4 degrees higher than the rear. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it's about 3.5 inches. Which is a considerable amount. And once I show you what I do to it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let me get on this and kind of go a little bit further in depth about the center line and why it needs to be parallel with the ground. First off, stability. Okay, now this one isn't so drastic that you're going to go into a death wobble when you go around a curve or anything like that. If you look at some of the choppers that have been built, they are extremely aggressive. I'm talking the center line is like this on the frame. I mean, it's really raised up. And it's not a look that I cater to, but some people do. Going in a straight line, that's fine. Going around a corner, yeah, it could be dangerous. But I'll show you what I'm going to do this bike. I got some RFY shocks from Amazon. You can get these, they range in price anywhere from like, I don't know, 95, 98 bucks all the way up to 120, 150. They're pretty good, okay shocks for this type of project. I mean, they're not Ohlins by no means. Ohlins are 1,500 bucks. These are not them. They kind of look like them. That's the whole ploy of it, gold and black, but no, these are not Olin. Those are 15 3/4 inch shocks. The ones that I'm fixing to take off this bike, the stock factory ones, they're 12 1/4. So that's 3.5 inch difference. And I want to put the camera back and let you get a look of as the bike sits in its stock form. And then I'm going to change the shocks out and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, this is the bike in its stock height, stock ride form. And you can't see it from there, but this is a degree wheel and it's reading 4 degrees off. The front is 4 degrees higher than the rear. Okay, so it's on a 4 degrees plane. Now, what that equates to is roughly 3.5 inches. So what I want to do, I want to change the shocks out and you'll get an instant view between this, the way it is now in stock form, and what it looks like with the proper center line going on. Okay, now you see what I'm talking about. It really changes the look and the stance of the motorcycle just by raising it 3.5 inches in the rear. Now, I have about 12 inches of clearance now. Beforehand, I don't remember what it was. I measured it before, but it just looks more pleasing to the eye, especially when the bike is finished and all the other lines are cut and cropped to where they need to be. Like I said, this is going to be a street tracker, which I didn't say that. This is going to be a street tracker. One reason why I decided on a street tracker is because I already had the length in the front suspension. So instead of cutting the front suspension and making a cafe racer out of it, which is quite a bit more extensive than just throwing some shocks on the rear, and I've never had a street tracker, I wanted to build a street tracker. And simply, I just raised the rear end up. And it really, I like the looks of it. Now, I may go back and extend the swing arm. I'm not sure yet. It depends on what it looks like after I get the hoop on the rear. Now, this is going to be a brat style seat, but it's going to have a little bit of a kick up in the back. Now, you're probably wondering maybe what this piece of tape is. That is the point at which I'm going to cut this. How I got that distance, I use the golden ratio number, 1.618. Now, what I use is the tank, the length of the tank, which is 22 inches, because that's what your eye first goes to when you're looking at a bike. Now, 22 inches times 1.618 is like 35 or 36, maybe even 37. It's long. I took that number, divided it by 2, came up with 17 and a half, roughly. So that's where I'm going to end the seat at. Now I'll be cutting it somewhere up in here. But the end of the hoop is going to be right here, 17 and a half inches from here. That's just more pleasing to the eye. Subconsciously, you see it and it just works. It goes together. Now, if this bike was sitting down with a stock suspension, you would notice it. You may not know what's going on with it, but you would know something is wrong. And that thing that would be wrong is your center line is 4 degrees high. Your eye, your brain will automatically see that. Just not your conscious brain. So you want to always keep in mind, keep your center line parallel to the ground, whether you're going up or if you're going down. With the cafe racer, some people don't have the ability to machine the forks down, so they will extend them up a couple of inches. If you go back and you look closely at some of the cafe racers, you'll see this. In this instance, no, the front fork stayed the same length, and I just raised the rear end of it. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys on this because, like I said, I've never seen it talked about, shown to anyone. And for you new guys who are building bikes, you need to know this. If you want to really get a good looking bike, you need to keep your lines right. You don't necessarily have to follow the golden ratio number 1.618, but that helps. But one thing I really suggest that you do is keep your center line parallel with the ground. And that's really all I have for you guys today. Hey, if you watched the video all the way through and you liked it, and if I deserve your subscription, then please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I really like bringing this information to you guys, and I know that there's a lot of you out there that like watching my channel. I can tell that from the comments. I can tell that from the amount of views that I get. So continue watching my channel, and I'll continue bringing you more and more and more on bike geometry, bike building, and it will get really in depth. Trust me, the further you watch, the more I will teach you. Thank you, and you guys have a great week. See you next week.